Hello and welcome. My apologies if I look a little bit tired and jaded today. It was a restless night, and for good reason, because in this video today I want to make a confession, something I need to get off my chest, and that is that I am and always have been Archie Marks. And if you don't know who Archie is, because you're a new customer or perhaps you bought using a mobile, if you use a desktop version, you will see on the website a picture of an older gent claiming to be the founder of Project Noo You. I don't know who that gent is. He's a model, a stock model I got from a stock photography site. I don't ask for your forgiveness, but I am going to explain why I've misled you. And I hope that you will at least understand, because I never put the older gent up there to try and impress or influence sales. I actually had me up there first and took me away because my wife and I received death threats. I want to keep this video short, though there's a lot to explain, but I just want to firstly say, first and foremost, that nothing else is incorrect. The Nitrovit is made in New York, USA. It's shipped from there, as you know. The story of Nitrovit, me formulating it, it's all true. The only difference is that I felt I had to hide. And I'll explain why. I didn't need to make this video. I could have just retired Archie, but despite this big fat lie that I've been living with, integrity is my #1 core value. And this has sat not well with me. So much so that last year I got quite depressed and nearly wrapped the whole thing up. Nearly called it a day. I was talked into retiring Archie, moving him to one side, and as you know, me stepping forward as the new guy, but doesn't sit right with me. Nothing's changed. There's still this lie, this skeleton in the closet, and there doesn't need to be, because there aren't any others. And so I'm going to quickly tell you the story, and as I said, I'm not looking for forgiveness, but rather I hope that you'll just try and understand. It's all fun and games until your life is threatened, and that of your wife's, and you're sent some personal information that would imply this is not a joke. Someone has been hacking or snooping around or watching or... So 2013, my formula, which I created for my own ADHD, it's quite popular among friends and family, and a man is introduced to me who thinks it's fantastic, and he wants to get it into the households of everyone in the US. He lends me a large amount of money, his family's money. He wasn't one of these, cold-hearted investors that goes around buying into everything. He saw this as a project that he really believed in, and he believed in me and gave me the money to make this happen, and I did. And the first thing I did, I do everything. I did the logos, I do the formula, the bottle labels, the website, I do everything. So when I started to build the website, I was a little bit fat. And I thought, what I'll do is I'll take 4 weeks and I'll get in shape, so that when I go up on the website, I'm going to look fantastic and as best as I can do. And so what I did, so that I didn't have to wait for that, I used a placeholder. That was, I was designing the website, and I just took this image of an older gentleman. And I gave him the name Archie Marks. He just kind of looked like an Archie to me, Archibald. And I really liked him, but the intent was for him to never stay. He was just there so I could space the rest of the website, and then it was all done, and all I need to do was, once my photo was taken, just swap them over. I was told by a mentor that we probably wouldn't, someone who, a lady that's in the supplement industry, she said, you won't expect to see, don't expect to see anyone for 6 to 8 weeks. No one will know who you are. And rightly so, so I thought. What I didn't realise was how fast we were going to take off. And boy, did we. Straight out the gates like a rocket. And we were written about in some of these big publications. And for the first time in my life, I started to receive letters or emails from strangers saying, oh wow, you've just changed my life, your product's amazing, and I'm now able to do this, or I'm able to focus, or I'm going to start working on my dream business. And I had never had that ever in my life, and I didn't realise it was important to me, but it soon did, and my wife and I spent a couple of nights at least in tears with just this outpouring from strangers that we had allegedly helped. I got my photos done, I put them up, and the next morning, I was so proud. I phoned my mum. It was the best day of my life. I told her after being a loser for 34 years that I'd finally achieved something and that she could go and tell her friends that I'd actually done something of worth. But I woke up the next morning and sales were down by some 80-85%. Nothing else had changed, and we saw the same amount of visitors to the site. I left it, and the next day woke up again and the same thing had happened, and we'd gone from here to just literally down here. And if it had continued, my investor would have lost his money, or I would have lost my investor's money, and we wouldn't have been able to help anyone. With a heavy heart, everyone was in the room at the time and no one wanted to say it, but I knew what had to be done, and I said, let's just put Archie back up and see what happens. Archie went up, and the next day sales returned. So I had to come to terms with the fact that I wasn't good enough, that the market rejected me. Sadly, people don't seem to care too much about the result these days. It's all about how pretty something looks. At least then, for sure, and I'm not very pretty, and people didn't want to see me. And so we put Archie back up and things went back to normal, and I absolutely hated it. And not only did it crush my ego and take away, the dreams of showing my mum that I had actually done something with my life, but it just made me not feel good about the business. But I said to my wife, you know what, I'm gonna take him down, I'm gonna put myself back up, but first I'll make 30 to 40 videos. I'll fill YouTube up with a whole load of great content, and then if people don't like me, well, they'll get an opportunity to hear from me at least and see that I may be able to help them in some way in their life, having been through a fat loss transformation, overcoming alcohol dependency, and a whole ton of other things that I faced in my life as I've tried to make myself a better version of me. So I got started on video topics. It was about 3 days later, and we had made a hell of a noise in this industry. And I won't mention names, but the largest manufacturer of an ADHD medication in 2014 put out a statement saying they believed they'd lost an estimated $240 million to people like me making alternatives to prescription drugs. I'm not saying it was them, or I don't know who it was, but a few days later we got some death threats. The first thing I got was the threat of doxing, which is where they put your mum's credit card details up online and your father's porn history, and they let people know where your wife is and that she's alone, and just real sick, creepy stuff like this. And then a couple of days after that, because I was writing PR pieces that were attacking some of these drug manufacturers, and then the next email we got threatened our lives, and they made in the email was a comment that someone from the outside wouldn't have known. Someone must have hacked something or gone into one of our accounts and seen a little bit of information, and to let us know that this was serious. In this day and age, death threats are 10 a penny, I believe. And it's just likely some idiot with a keyboard and a beer in their hand. But back in 2013, 2014, it was serious. At least it was to me. And I wasn't brave enough to ignore it. And thinking of my wife and what she means to me, and just even the possibility that we could be playing around with some people that operate at a level where crushing me is nothing, I decided to stay anonymous and leave Archie up. First 2 years it was fine, and I emailed and I enjoyed it. And when you emailed Archie, you emailed me and I emailed you back. I know a lot of people know who I am. If we've had any more than sort of 4 or 5 correspondence, I've told nearly everyone who I am, and everyone's been very kind and receptive to that. Steve even saying, a customer Steve even saying one day when I told him, I always thought you were a 40-year-old dude. You don't sound like an 80-year-old man in your emails. So maybe this isn't such a surprise, but I don't like that. I've technically misled you, and from the bottom of my heart, I am truly, truly sorry. In hindsight now, I don't know if I would have done things different, but I certainly should have come out a few years ago. Whilst I don't care for threats anymore, they're so common that I think, I don't know, I still have to accept the fact that sales will drop now, but it's okay. It's okay. I feel now that I'm on a higher purpose, and Project Noo You can be so much more, especially in this world with it being so crazy right now. I want Project Noo You to be a place where like-minded people can come and we can just ignore all this madness, this division, this politics, these race wars, this just nonsense. But I had to get this skeleton out of the closet. And I didn't need to. The story of Archie retiring and all that, I had many people advise that was the route to go down. It doesn't sit right with me. It doesn't sit right with me. It's just more nonsense on top of more nonsense. So I am Archie Marks. I always have been. As I say, everything's correct, everything's true, and I'm just truly sorry that I've misled you. Again, I don't ask for forgiveness, but I hope somehow when you think about your loved ones that perhaps you would understand. Had I stayed up as well, we couldn't have helped the people we've helped now. And I've had emails from people that have built businesses and done $500,000 in 6 months. None of that would have happened had I remained there. And so, again, I apologize. Going forward, I'm not going to mention it ever again. It's the past. Project Noo You starts today, day one, for me certainly, because the whole theory behind Noo You is to create a better version of yourself, and the first thing we need to do when doing that is to just overcome these things that we don't want to face. And I won't go into details, but please don't think this has sat easy with me. It's caused me a lot of problems and depression. A couple of years back, last year, I wanted to wrap it all up and just finish the business and call it a day. And I thought, you know what, let's just give it one go and just be yourself. And if no one likes me, then at least we didn't continue this lie. And I can go back and get a job and work for some boss who I'm sure I'll consider is an idiot, and have colleagues that I won't get on with, but so be it. If you are still around, if I still have a business tomorrow, there's going to be some really great content coming out. Now I can be me. I've got a lot of stuff planned. I've even spoke to a gym today that's going to let me hire the place out. We're going to shut a gym down for an afternoon, and I'm going to make a whole load of videos there. There's loads of great stuff, and you still don't even know what Project Noo You and the circle represents, but I will reveal that all in the next video. Until then, thank you for listening. I thank you for your love and support over the years. We have been attacked by competitors non-stop. Last year we got attacked so heavy with fake reviews and all this rubbish. I'm going to do a reveal video. You're not even going to believe what I'm going to reveal to you about the internet and how rigged it is. How every single one of these review sites, 95% of review sites, are bought and paid for by the person that sat at number one. And I'm going to show you how it's done. There are very few, I know a few, there's a few people that recommend Nitrovit, and I know they're good people, and I can show you them, and you can see that they're very different. They genuinely go through all these products, but there's a lot of Mickey Mouse websites up there, and the whole internet's loaded, and we got attacked last year and nearly lost the business as a result. New business stopped completely. But thanks to your loyalty and support, we managed to get through on repeat orders. So thank you. Things are better now, but yeah, it's been a little bit rough, and I've suffered. So please don't think I've been sat here laughing. Oh, they think it's this guy. It's nearly destroyed me. When you finally do something with your life and you can't even put your own face or name to it. That's it. Thanks so much for everything, and I hope you're still here tomorrow. If so, here's to us, here's to the future, and here's to creating the best versions of ourselves we can, ready for 2021. All the best.